Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, March 25th. It is 6:17 right now. Market's gonna open in about 13 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. All right, a few things here to update. Looks good. A few more things here. One last thing, and I will get this link sent out to you guys here in Premium. All right, looks good. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here. There we go. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. And as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. All right, so let's start off over here with the daily chart. Going down to the 8-hour chart. Down to the 4-hour chart. Going down to the 2-hour chart. Down to the 1-hour chart. Going down to the 30-minute. Down to the 15-minute. Down to the 10-minute. And looks like we're good to go. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, March 25th. Happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. Today, it is 6:21 right now. Market's gonna open in about 9 minutes. Looks like people are still making their way in. So the first thing I did here, pre-market, was mark up liquidity per usual. Closest level of liquidity is gonna be above over here at 39,825. And the closest level below is gonna be at 39,791. The volatility right now is pretty low. We did have news at 5:30, but it didn't really push anything here. Just slight movement. And then I believe we have some news coming up at 7 o'clock. So as people join in, this is pretty much the areas of liquidity right here. I'm going to go over here to the clean chart. I'm going to mark up 6:30. I'm going to mark up 8 o'clock. I'm going to go on the 4-hour time frame, identify structure. So there is some structure up here. There's structure down below right here. Going down to the 1-hour. Some structure here kind of overlaps a little bit. And for the most part, it looks like we are good to go. So this is going to be the 4-hour. 4-hour resistance level up here. And I really hate how they adjusted this text bar. Okay, so 4-hour resistance level, which is going to be pretty much irrelevant. Price is way too high up here, so I don't expect price to get this high today. But going down to the 1 minute over here, this is going to be the 1-hour support level. And that's pretty much it for the clean chart there. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Looks like about half you guys are here so far. Today is Monday, March 25th, 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open in about 7 minutes. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Jeff. Morning, Nick. Morning, Patricia. Morning, Sadie. Morning, Maria. Morning, Funmi. Morning, Sisu. Daniel, Maddie. Morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm ready to kick off the week, guys. Hopefully this week's pretty smooth. Let me check the calendar. This Friday coming up is going to be Good Friday, guys. I'm not sure if the market's closed. I didn't see anything on the calendar, but I did see over here from CNBC that it said that it'll be a short trading week for the markets, which are closed on Good Friday. So I'm not sure if the market's going to be fully closed on Friday. We'll see. Yeah, banks are closed, I figured. Just not sure if the market's going to be super slow. So I'm not sure if we're going to have a session on Friday yet. We probably will, but we'll get on in the morning. If the market's like super slow, then we'll just not trade, of course. So we'll see. But I do plan on coming on for Friday. We'll just have to, we'll play by ear. And if the market sucks like by like 7 o'clock, we'll just wrap it up and not trade on Friday. Thanks, Patricia. Yeah, thanks, you're closed. Yep, exactly. Nick said another day, another BB3. So that's what we'll be looking for here, guys. We got about 6 minutes till market open, so we still got a lot of time here. Yeah, there's not too much here right now. Guys, just a heads up as well, for Apex, if you guys are thinking about opening another Apex account or starting another account, the 80% off and 1 day to pass expires in 2 days. So just keep in mind that the 80% off is actually the best deal. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for the 90% off, but the 90% off is only for 1 month. So the 80% off is as good as it'll get, because even if you do get the 90% off, it's 90% off for the first month and it reverts back to 80%. So I mean, if you're on the fence to get a new account, you're running the risk, because you guys have seen a lot of people are using Apex now. And I think if more and more people use Apex, they're not going to have as many promos as they did before. So just a heads up. I mean, if you guys want to wait, that's fine. It's up to you. But, if you're ready to get more accounts, or if you're ready to level up from here, I mean, this is kind of the time. So just a heads up, don't be surprised if like next week it goes down to 70 or 75 or 60 or 50 or whatever. Because I've been looking at other funding companies and a lot of them don't even have promos. Like their promos are super expensive still. Like I started an account with, I think, Top Step, and I started an account with Take Profit Trader. It's pretty expensive. It's like 150 a month for 100K or 150K account. So you're getting a huge discount with Apex. Just a heads up. I'm not here to rush you guys to get an account, but if you guys are ready, it's probably the time to get it while you can. And I'll remind you guys again later, because the last thing you want to do is like the promos are long gone, and then you have to pay full price, because the full price is pretty expensive. So looking over here at the 150 for the Tradeovate, the full price for the 150 is 317. That's full price. And if they're going to be comparable to like other companies like Top Step or Take Profit Trader, they're like at 150. So if anything, ATF will just drop their discount to like 50%, which is like not as good as an 80, of course. So just a heads up, guys, if you guys do plan on wanting to add more accounts. So, all right, guys, looks like a bit more of you guys are here so far. So good morning. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. So the closest level of liquidity is going to be up here at 39,825. The next level is going to be down here at 39,791. Looking over here at our clean chart, we have a 1 hour support level, which is right here. We also have a 4 hour resistance level, which is super high. I'm not expecting price to get this high today. But just a heads up, I mean, I can keep dragging up here. It's super high up here. So probably won't expect price to get that high, at least not by today. Here's our BV3 chart. So looking over here at the BV3 chart, we currently have a double body above, which is not going to be useful to us because we already have a sell signal. There's no double body down here. We'll come back to this when market actually opens, and we'll see if there's any levels there for us to look at. Looking over here at the PRB, the trend here is bullish. The trend meter is bullish as well. So with that said, this is likely to be a buy for the PRB. I mean, we'll see what happens when the market opens in the next 3 minutes. But like I said earlier, it's likely to be a buy here. So that's pretty much that. Looking over here at our main chart. So our main chart over here, I believe we had news this morning. We had news at 420, 525, and 420 and 530. Let me mark that up real quick. So we had news over here at 420, kind of weird time for news. Not really much movement there, but there was news right there at 420. And then we had news over here at 530 as well. Also not really big move. So two news events right there, 420, 520, they're both positive. We have news here at 7 o'clock and 7:30, high impact and medium impact. We have new home sales here at 7 o'clock. They're forecasted to be positive. And then we have news at 7:30 with the Fed speaking as well. Fed cut going to be speaking at 7:30. So 7 o'clock, 7:30 news. Mark that up right here. 7 o'clock. 7:30. I don't need to mark it up for the PRB because the PRB is supposed to happen before 7 o'clock anyways. But I will mark it up over here for our BB3 chart. Okay, so looks like we are good to go, guys. Market is going to open up in a few moments. We got 30 seconds left on this candle. We're starting to get pushed in a direction right here. It's getting close to liquidity down below. So liquidity right there just got hit down below, guys. If anybody caught that, that's the first level of liquidity right there. So there is the first level of liquidity right there. Here's our clean chart. Market is going to open in about 15 seconds. And I will mark up opening price right here shortly. Market is now open, guys. So here goes the opening candle. You guys can see some pretty crazy movement right there. Got price kind of bouncing around. Which is fine. All right, so I got opening price pretty much marked up on all the charts right here. We don't have any double body or double wicks in the direction of price right now. The trend here is kind of shifting a little bit. So for the PRB, there's no entry that's really setting up at the moment. And we will go from there. All right. So market is now open, not really much direction here. Huge doji candle right there on open. ATR is still pretty low. It's currently at 9 ATR. So no PRB entry setting up yet. This might switch up for a sell. We'll have to wait and see how these pivots start to shift over the next couple minutes. Looking over here at the BB3, there's no double body, double wicks. There's nothing here for us to look at either. Here is our clean chart. Price is currently rejecting off the 1 hour support level. Liquidity down below got hit. So if you guys can see that first level right there, went straight to its full TP. It was a kind of a tricky candle because it spiked back and forth, but did hit its TP right there. Down below. All right, so we're just gonna wait. This is normal for Monday, guys, so just keep that in mind. Mondays are typically like this because the markets are closed for the weekend. So when the market reopens on Monday, a lot of people are just re-entering the market from the weekend. And a lot of these pending orders are getting filled that get set over the weekend as well. So you're just seeing liquidity getting marked up and pretty much wiped out on both sides. Not really much of a direction here. There's no trend really confirmed yet, so we're just going to sit tight and wait. You can see price here is rejecting directly off the sessions. Price came right back down, rejecting off this session's two. So you guys can see it's pretty clear. Price is just getting manipulated between the sessions right here. Price came up, rejected off the New York low. Price came down, rejected off the Asia low. So not too much. We're just gonna wait, and then once we have a confirmation of like direction, we can start trading in that direction. We're starting to get a double body right here on the top, but there's a sell signal that's already active, so there's not going to be any way to take a sell here anyway. So it's kind of irrelevant for us at this moment. But you guys can see where price is having a lot of manipulation. It's manipulating directly off the sessions, New York low and Asia low down below here. Trend still hasn't confirmed yet, so I'll come back to the PRB once the trend's confirmed. But I think here at the moment, we'll just stick to the main chart. There's no double body from the bottom side. That's pretty much what we're looking for. We're looking for a double body on the bottom side. For me personally, this is kind of what I'm looking to happen. I'm looking for price to come down a little bit, fake out below the sessions right here, and then come back up. And then hopefully we get an entry right here on its way back up to opening price. Right now, we just don't have a double body or anything like that. So there's a double body right here, but there's no low. So there's no entry here, or there's no setup for breakout V3, at least not yet. You guys can see the candles here are a little blocky. ATR is currently at 13, so it's starting to pick up a little bit. Pivot still haven't confirmed yet, so there's no PRB for trend. Liquidity over here is kind of just sitting around this lower liquidity level. Clean chart right here, just sitting at the 1 hour support level. So you can see price is kind of just sitting around this area right now. It's now currently sitting between the Asia low right here and the opening price. So again, we just gotta wait, sit tight. Pivots here haven't confirmed yet. Once the pivot is confirmed, I'll take a look at the PRB. But again, we're waiting for this level 4 pivot to cross over above all the other pivots to confirm the trend. It's gonna hang tight for a bit. All right, still no direction, but we are getting some decent volatility here. ATR is currently at 14, so as you guys can see down below. If you guys are wondering how the volatility is working, just look down below here at the ATR. When it's around 15, that's like normal. So 14 to 16 is like pretty much normal. Anything above like 20 plus is kind of very high. Anything below like 13 is kind of low. So sweet spot right now is 14 to 16. That just creates decent volatility for movement. But there's just no direction. So there's volatility, but there's not really much direction here. As price continues to go back and forth between opening price right here, the blue line, and the Asia low right here down below. So I'll just take this off real quick. And I'm fine here with price kind of coming down below. So as you guys can see, the trend here is starting to shift. It hasn't confirmed yet, but it is starting to shift a little bit. So if this candle here closes red, this will likely be the start of a PRB. You guys can see the pivots right there. They're not confirmed yet, so you have to wait for one more candle to pass, preferably a red candle, because if it's green, it's probably going to go sideways, but if it's red, it's probably going to come down lower. So this candle's got about like 10 seconds left on it. It's not looking like this is going to confirm down below because the candle here is green, like I said. So it needs to be red, and you can see right there that the pivots did not change. All right, so we are again here just waiting. There's no entry for any PRB yet because the pivots haven't shifted yet. There's no downwards trend. There's no BB3 here yet. There's a double body rejection up here, but there's no double body rejection below. So not really useful to us because we already have a sell signal here. So again, guys, we just got to sit tight and wait. I'll let you guys know when the entries come up. There's no other entries here available either. There's no pivot scalps, no momentum scalps, no V1 variations, none of that, because the trend here hasn't confirmed. So once the trend's confirmed, we can start looking for other scalps as well. Otherwise, the only thing that you can really look for here would be liquidity, but price is nowhere near it. So price is pretty far down right here. The closest level is above here, and the closest level below is going to be down here. So price is right in the middle. Nothing really work with here. All right, so here we go again. Okay, the trend's now confirmed. So now that the trend's confirmed for a sell, you can see prices below the pivots. The pivots are angling down. The level 4 pivot is above all the other pivots. You can now start looking for a PRB, hopefully. If this starts to shift back up, then I take that back and there's not going to be any trend. But right now, at this very moment, you can see the trend is bearish. So if this candle rejects off the pivot here with the red candle, then this could likely be the start of a PRB. So just keep that in mind. I'll keep looking here. There's no double body, double wick, so there's nothing here for a BB3. If a BB3 setup does come up, that's going to take priority. So I'm just going to close off all the other charts and I'm just going to focus on the BB3. But right now, there's no BB3 available at the moment. So we got about 10 seconds left on this candle. You can see a lot of back and forth movement here. Yeah, exactly. C6 says session sandwiches are brutal. Definitely sitting on hands for that BB3. It'll come up. Yeah, I agree. So we have the first criteria here for the PRB, guys. We have the wick rejection off the pivot. So price came down. We have a trend right here for a downwards trend. Price came down, swung back up, rejected off the pivot. Now you're looking for some space or consolidation. You're looking for some space. There's no space here because this candle here also is rejecting off the pivot. So you just got to sit tight, wait a little bit. Space will happen eventually. It's all about patience. But again, first entry here that could be setting up is the PRB. That's the only thing that's really setting up right now. Liquidity is still pretty far. If this thing swings up, then there's no PRB. So we got to keep it down below. But again, there's no rush, guys. You know, as I said earlier, today's Monday. Monday's like one of the riskier days to trade. And as I said a lot last week, you know, Mondays are feeler days for us. So you want to use a Monday as a feeler day for you so that you can identify how the market's going to move for the rest of the week. CNBC just posted breaking news. So CNBC just posted this. Stocks slip to start shortened trading week as rally to records pause. So now they're saying that the stocks are starting to drop. So this might push price to the upside, which is perfectly fine with me. All right, so we currently have the PRB that's still continuing to set up here. We don't have space yet. This candle again is rejecting off the pivot, so there's still no space here. And this thing is starting to dump down. So people are chasing the CNBC news. CNBC said here that the stock market's starting to slip and people are chasing that news right there. That's perfect. We want them to chase it so that when price swings back up, we'll be able to climb it right back to the upside. So what I personally want is I want a sell signal here to close. I need a sell signal here to close. So once that sell signal closes, we can start looking for a swing back to the upside. So this here might be the space for the PRB. Yeah, exactly. Sisu said the Boeing is the Dow. CEO is stepping down. Yeah, literally. So if you guys saw the news, Boeing CEO is stepping down. They had a whistleblower that kind of leaked info about Boeing, knowing about like their bad planes, and he got killed. So he was murdered. It was reported as suicide, but a very strange suicide. They think he was killed by Boeing, which I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in the yeah, just like Epstein, exactly. Because he basically like he basically just snitched on Boeing. And then for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, but on social media, he said that if he dies, it wasn't his fault. Like he didn't do it. And then he ended up being found with like a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his head, like a suicide, but I'm pretty sure it's not a suicide. inside job by Boeing. So that also is going to affect the market because Boeing has a lot of leeway in the market in pushing price around. So we'll see. We'll see how that affects the market over the next couple weeks, next couple months, and we'll see who actually steps in charge. All right, so there's not really too much here still. Price is going back and forth. There's no sell signal that's come up. There's no breakout V3 that's come up. PRB here is still starting to set up. So right here, if this candle wicks down below, this is going to be the PRB entry for anybody who's looking to take it. I'm not taking the entry here, but I am marking up for you guys for those of you who do want to take it. So we had the rejection here. We had the space right here off this green candle. And this here could be the PRB entry for anybody who's looking to take it. Again, I'm not taking the trade, but if you guys want to take it, I'm marking it up for you guys. So I'm just looking for the BB3. For me personally, I'm looking for the BB3. This right here is the PRB, of course. Yeah, exactly. Nicholas said they killed the whistleblower, but their planes have also been falling apart for real in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I know. Boeing's like, it's a mess right now. Kind of scared to fly with any Boeing planes, which is literally all the planes that are retail. All right, guys. So this right here is the PRB entry. Again, I'm not in this position, but if you guys want to take it, this is the PRB entry. I just marked it up for you guys here. I am looking for the BB3. So now that it's marked up, I will take a look at the other charts over here to see if there's anything that we're missing. We have some high impact news coming up over here at 7 o'clock. So, I mean, if anything, we might have to sit tight for a little bit until this passes, but there's no price is kind of just going sideways here, as you guys can see. It's in a big range, like a huge range right here. Price is in a huge range right here, and there's not really much high lows coming up. There's a high here, a low here, a low down here. We're basically looking for another high and maybe a continuation to the downside. But yeah, here is the PRB that's currently running right now. There's no BV3 coming up anytime soon, at least not yet. Preferably, I'd like to trade outside of the news, but again, I mean, we'll see what happens here. We got news coming up at 7 o'clock. It's 14 minutes till news. And we'll see where it goes from there. So here's the PRB. It's pushing in profit right now. Looks like it'll probably hit. Yep, full TP right there. So if you guys took the PRB, like I said right here, full TP. I'll just put a text right here. PRB, full TP. There you go. Yeah, the candles are super huge right now. There's something that's going on that's causing price. There's some sort of catalyst that's pushing price. I'm not sure if it's like a late reaction to the CNBC news or just a late reaction to the news from earlier. Or I mean, it's just a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, you know. There's stuff going on that we have like kind of no control over. So there goes a PRB full TP right there. Looks like the lower level of liquidity right here got full TP as well. So if you guys took any of the trades, pretty much every trade I marked up today hit full TP already. So everything's been hitting. First level of liquidity right there, full TP. PRB, full TP. Next level of liquidity right here, full TP as well. Everything's pretty much hit full TP. There's no other entries that are available here right now. There was a pivot scalp that came up right here, but it was right at the session. So obviously red flag, no entry for us to take there. Price might be climbing back up here. So the BV3 might be setting up right here, guys. We have a double body that's starting to set up right here, and we'll see if this climbs back up to opening price. All right, so we have the double body rejection there. There's no buy signal yet. The candles are pretty huge, though. Just keep that in mind. It's a little tricky. The ATR is starting to get super high, too. ATR is currently at 18, between 18 and 19. And we'll see where this goes. So we're looking for a buy signal here. If we get the buy signal, this could be a possibility for a BV3. My guess is that price might range down here for a bit, or might just consolidate around here for a little bit until it swings back up a little later. But again, we have news coming up at 7 o'clock, so it's getting a little close to news time, which is also a little tricky. So we're just waiting for that buy signal. There's no need to rush anything here. Just gotta wait. So we got a few seconds left on this candle. Let's see if it swings back up. It might even come back down and retest this low. So it might come back down and retest that low right there. Here's a clean chart. Price is actually way below the 1 hour support level now. So I'll just mark up this level right here. I don't know if this will hold, but I'll just leave it alone for now. It didn't hold. Okay, so there's no more double body right there. Price is still dropping further. All right, so we're not getting a BB3 yet, which is fine. Just gotta wait. Just gotta wait a little bit. I think this is setting up for the news later because the news for new home sales is supposed to be positive. So you can see over here, it's supposed to be positive on both ends for month over month and for new home sales in general for February. So I think price is dumping a little bit so that it can correct back up once the news happens here at 7 o'clock. So that's fine too. That's kind of what I was expecting anyways. I was expecting some manipulation to the downside and then correction back up later. Yeah, because the news is, I mean, the forecast is pretty strong. It's like 3%. So like normally it's not that high. It's like around like just a little bit, like half a percentage point or like even less. But that's kind of what I see happening right here. I mean, the news doesn't always have to follow what it's reporting, but I could see the market getting a little better with regard to the home market. I think also that goes hand in hand with the interest rates that were released last week. You know, as Powell said, they're not changing interest rates. There's going to be 3 hikes happening this year, but at this very moment, Powell mentioned that, you know, there's not going to be a rate hike anytime soon. So there's going to be 3 this year. So we're in March. We have April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We have 9 months. So within 9 months, there's going to be price interest rate change, but not yet. So right here, guys, there's no double body, double wick. So there's not going to be any entry here for the BB3, at least not yet. We need price to drop down a little lower. I think price might just consolidate down here as we get closer to news here at 7 o'clock. So price might just start to go sideways here for a bit, which again is fine. I mean, I don't care. It's not a big deal to us. We're not really forecasting anything specific. We're just waiting for the entry to come to us. So I'm going to mark this right here as the 1 minute support level. There we go, right there. All right, so price is just going back and forth. Again, there's no double body or double wick down here, so there's no confirmation. Reversal, at least not yet. I mean, if price decides to continue climbing down, that's fine too. Not really a big deal for us here. We just gotta wait. We're gonna trade in whatever direction the BB3 sends us to. So here we got this climb back to the upside, the buy signal. We'll see if this here closes. It has like 20 seconds left on it, so there's still a lot of time here. But I'm not set on taking only buys or only sells. I'm taking either direction as long as the criteria is met. So no entries here right now. There's no regular scalps either because there's just nothing down here. There was a sell signal that came up, but price never dropped lower, so there's no MPS. There's no pivot scalps here because this right here was at the sessions. Also, the candle is too big. It's not really much here right now, not at this moment. Price is pushing back up from liquidity down below. Buy signal still hasn't closed yet. So, I mean, it wouldn't matter. We wouldn't be able to take any sells here until we get that buy signal. And we wouldn't be able to take any buys here until we have the double body, double wick. So give or take, I don't think nothing's going to happen here from now until the news. News is at 7 o'clock, like I said earlier. The thing that I don't like trading around news time is the late reaction to news, right? So that's kind of what I don't like about certain news events. Because if you enter the trade after news, then there's going to be a reaction at some point. It'll be in your favor or against your favor, but you don't really have much control over that. See, Hawk is asking, would the 649, 650 consider double body? No. So Hawk, I get this question a lot. There's no lower low here. There's no lower, there's no high here, right? So there's no way that this could be a double body. It has to happen at the high or the low. So you can't just pick any random candle and just because there's a double body. Like for example, this is not considered what we're looking for because there's no high there, right? I get this question a lot, so I just want to make sure that you guys are understanding that because I think we cover that question almost like every session, and I was hoping that like people would understand it, but yeah, again, you have to have it at a high or a low. It can't just be any candle. So guys, just keep that in mind. Just want to make sure that everybody's understanding because I've seen a lot of people, not a lot of people, I've seen a couple of people who have been showing examples in the chat. I think Shannon's been showing some examples and they're like super off. So I want to make sure that you guys are understanding these and there's no mistakes being made because like one mistake could really like throw off your account, right? Because if you make one mistake, you would just keep making more mistakes after that. So just make sure that you guys understand the strategy, what you guys are looking for. Because the last thing I want is for you guys to make like one costly mistake and then your account just goes into shambles. Also, I've seen a lot of people taking more strategies, which is completely fine. But you guys got to make sure that you're taking quality entries, right? Because I've seen a couple people like the group isn't on the same level anymore right now. Like for a while we were on the same level because everyone was just like winning, and then now there's like the balance is like kind of broken now. There's like some people who are doing really good who are just following me and following quality entries, and there's some people who are just taking like a bunch of random trades or taking liquidity or taking stuff that they're not really familiar with or they're not good at taking. And I've seen a couple of people even blow accounts, which accounts should not be blown. It should be impossible to be blown at this point because we've had such a high win streak and we've only had 2 losses in like the past month. So the only way people are blowing accounts is if they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, like over leveraging, over trading, revenge trading, etc. So I'm just looking out for you guys. I'm not here to tell you guys what to take or what not to take, but just be smarter with the decisions that you guys decide when you guys are taking certain entries. Because I know it's exciting. You guys see all the liquidity here getting hit, and you guys want to take every liquidity. But I've seen some people where they end up taking like the one liquidity that doesn't hit, and they don't take any of the other ones, and they just end up in a really deep hole. So just something to keep in mind. Thanks, Henry. Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, Henry said that there was a double body on the US30 chart, but not YM, which is fine. I mean, all the charts are going to be slightly different, but I'm going to stick to the YM one because that's like where all the data has been pulled from. In other news, I don't know if Steven's here. Steven, are you here? I feel like Steven can't get a break. If you guys, I mean, everybody here knows Steven. Steven passed another Apex account, but he passed Apex trading on an expired contract, so he blew the account. That's another thing I wanted to remind you guys. Make sure you're trading on the proper contract, guys. He was trading on the March contract. We stopped trading on the March contract like on March 1st because the contract ended. We've been on June. So he texted me or messaged me on Telegram the other day. Let's see where Steven at. Like he passed. He like literally, I don't know how he took the trade because usually they don't let you execute trades on there. But yeah, like Steven passed. He was trading gold. Of course, he was trading gold, like doing his own thing. He got 9,200 profit, but then he was trading on the March contract right here. So yeah, I don't even know how he traded on gold. I don't know how he traded on the March contract to begin with, but yeah, they said his account was already blown to begin with. So he was trading on a blown account, and he was also trading on the March contract. So just keep that in mind, guys. Whenever I get stuff like that, I'll try to give you guys a heads up so that it doesn't happen to you. But yeah, some of the big things that I've seen lately from a lot of people is trading on the wrong contract, over leveraging, taking too big contract size, also over trading. So those are like kind of the big things right now that are kind of, there's certain people in the group who are running into some problems. Not everybody, majority of the people here are doing great. There's maybe like a small handful of people, maybe like 5 people out of the group who are just making mistake after mistake. And I just want to prevent you guys from making those mistakes. Okay, so we're getting close to the 7 o'clock news right here, guys. There's no BV3, so there's no double body, double wicks anywhere. News is going to happen right here at 7 o'clock. It's new home sales month over month and new home sales for February. Month over month shows an increase here of 3% forecasted. And then the new home sales for February are up about, so it's at 0.661 mil, and they're forecasting to be at 0.675 mil, which I can agree with. I think the market is starting to pick up a little bit with the housing market. I myself am looking for a house as well, so I've been on Zillow every day looking for a new home, and the market is looking a little better. I mean, there's more inventory. I see a lot of houses getting picked up, so we'll see if the news here kind of lines up with it. Just because the news is positive doesn't mean that price is going to go up, right? Price can get easily manipulated, and then it can also kind of, just go opposite ways. So just because the news is positive doesn't mean price is going to go up. Keep that in mind. I actually want the news to be positive, and I want price to come down because I want price to be manipulated. So I actually want price to be manipulated so that we can catch it on the correction, right? Or I want to do the opposite as well here. If news is negative, I'd be okay with price pushing up, and then we catch it on its way back down. So I personally want manipulation to happen so that we can catch the correction. That's typically the best way to do it because you know where price is supposed to go. And when you see price do the opposite, you just wait for it to come back to where it's supposed to go. So we'll see. All right, guys, we got the buy signal right here. Here's the news candle. Go over here to our clean chart. The news candle landed right on the sessions. Yeah, so it happened right at the sessions. Let me check the news real quick. The news was mixed. So the new home sales month over month was actually super negative. The new home sales just for February were pretty much flat. They weren't really that high. I mean, they were decent. It was better than expected, but nothing like out of the ordinary. So we'll just call this news event a wash up. There's not really much there. It's pretty much just a wash up. So we don't really have a direction for news. It was actually super off. So yeah, it was negative. I mean, not super off. It was off, but by a good amount. You have a double body right here. So maybe we'll get this to the downside with the month over month news. You have the double body pending right here. Just gotta wait for this. It's got 20 seconds, a lot of time. Let's check retail sentiment. Retail sentiment 74%. I actually like when retail sentiment's not super high. I like it when it's below the 75 mark so that price can go in either direction. When it's like too high, like last week, I think last week was just overkill, right? It was like 83%. When you have it super one-sided like that, it's tricky because price will typically go the opposite way. But when it's like down the middle, like 70, 60, 70 around that area, price will typically go in both directions. It's not just a one-sided market. So it looks like we might get a sell signal here coming up soon. Seeing some volatility on the downside. ATR is currently at 16, so it's around normal ATR. Volatility is decent. Yeah. William said, well, here's the V1. Come on, sell signal. Yeah. So I think if this drops lower, so drops lower than this lower point right here, we're probably gonna get a sell signal. So if this comes lower than this level here where it's currently sitting, that sell signal will come up pending. There we go. So we're just waiting for this here. It's got to come down a little lower. I think it needs to come down below this like momentum here. If it comes down to this area right here, then we might get that sell signal. But again, you can see here, it's not very strong. It's kind of pushing down, swings back up. I come back down again. Yeah, so we have the pending sell signal there, as you guys can see. Pending sell signal came up for a second and then it disappeared. So we're really just waiting for that sell signal. Once the sell signal comes up, there we go. Pending sell signal. Once that closes, we'll look for the confirmation and we'll look for the continuation back to the downside. So market is kind of reacting to the news. So the news here, like I said earlier, was negative. So price is coming down a little bit based off the news. This is kind of why I don't like trading when news happens, because market reacts to it. It could be in your favor, it could be against your favor. It's really hard to tell whether it's going to be the real move or not. If it comes up, that's fine. We will continue to follow it and take it here if it closes. So we got the sell signal there pending. It looks like it's about to close, and it did not close at the last second. Typical. All right, so if this here closes, this may be another double body down here. Yeah, I know, Jeff said typical psych. And this is kind of why I'm glad that we wait for the confirmation, because I know a lot of you guys in the past, if you guys have taken like the pivot scalps, sometimes you'll wait for that sell signal to close, and at the last second, it psychs on you. It just disappears, and then you're in a position that you shouldn't be in. So I like that we wait for the confirmation, because now that you have a confirmation, it's kind of, most of the time, it's hard to get psyched out, because you're like typically just waiting for a candle after it, and it's usually not going to be anything crazy. All right, so we got another sell signal here that's pending. About 5 seconds left on it. We'll see here if it actually closes. Looks like this one's going to actually close. And we did get it right there. So if the candle here closes red, this is going to be the breakout V3. This candle has a lot of time in it, so we'll see what happens. Nice. So for Kenny's strategy, he's identifying this as a sell as well. Nice work, Kenny. Thanks for the heads up. And thanks for the confluence there. So we just got to wait for this candle here to close red. This candle has about 30 seconds left on it. So it's got a lot of time for it to kind of bounce around. I'm not really going to pay attention to it until like the last 10 seconds, because I don't want to get kind of antsy getting a little too early. All right, so we got this here. We got about 15 seconds left on the candle. Again, you guys have to wait for the candle to close before getting in, because we're not sure how it's going to close exactly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This right here is the breakout V3.
Filled.
So the breakout V3 is right here. Make sure I get. And I hate how this thing doesn't like line up perfectly with it. There we go. Just want to make sure I'm on the right price. Right there. Maintenance. What? So I can't put an alert here, because alerts aren't currently working. But all right, I'm in the position right here. Let's see for some confluences. So we currently have a downwards trend right here, obviously, which is beneficial for us. Trend is downwards. Let's look at all the other time frames. It's bearish on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, and closing down on the 4 hour over here. Other than that, let's go to the clean chart. Price is kind of just sitting within this area here. It's not exactly the best. It's in between a range right now. So we're currently sitting in between a range between the 4 hour support level and the 1 minute support level. So if anything, if price does push up a little higher, maybe bounce off the 1 hour support and come back down. but the confluences here aren't exactly lined up perfectly. Price is pushing up. It's currently rejecting off the sessions right there. That looked like that might have been the target price point for it to reject off. So this is actually, I mean, we're getting, so like I said earlier, this kind of sucks when we trade off news because the news here was negative. It was negative and positive. So you're getting a late reaction to the news here. Price kind of came down slightly for the initial news, and then it pushed right back up here for the following news over here at 7 o'clock. Price is now rejecting off the sessions here, so I'm hoping price does come back down from this point. We are in some drawdown over here for the BB3, but again, like I said, I'm looking over here at the sessions to see if price hopefully bounces off this point and then makes its way back down for a double wick rejection or just a rejection in general off these sessions right there. But I think that's like the main confluence we can look at. Price pushed up right there. Let's go to the clean chart. Price did exactly what I marked up right here too. So price is rejecting off the 1 hour support level. It's also rejecting off the sessions right here. And we really just need to get a strong push to the downside. If we get that strong push to the downside, then great. Otherwise, this is probably going to be a bit of a long hold because the volatility is dying down a little bit. It's currently at 14 ATR. And on top of that, we have the news movement. Yeah, the ATR is kind of low, like Maddie said. Maddie said it might take a bit. ATR is at 14. So it might just bounce around a bit before it actually pushes in its direction. Yeah, Maddie also mentioned sentiment is 74% short though, so it might drop some more lower in some sellers. Yeah, that's kind of what I see too. But we're really just in between the range here. This is what kind of sucks about trading in a range because it's hard to tell where price is really going to go, right? And here we go, as price dumps back down. I gotta see where the TP is at. It's at 28. Okay. So here we go, as price comes back down to where we're looking for, rejected directly off the sessions. I'm just hoping we get like a big push right here. And just a huge slump back down. But like I said, we're probably going to it's going to take a while. We're in between the range here. So if anything, price is probably just going to go back and forth for a bit before it actually chooses its direction, which I hope is down, of course. But yeah, price is just ranging right here. I don't think there's any more structure. There's actually another structure right here that's currently pending. It's not a strong structure, but let's draw it there. So this is currently the range that price is in. Back to here, price is still kind of just sitting in the middle. And I hate trading news. So this is why I don't like trading news, because you get a late reaction to the news and there's not really anything you can do about it, because it doesn't matter what analysis you have. You could have bearish analysis, you could have a bullish analysis. However the market reacts to the news, that's kind of just what happens. And then eventually price will move to where it needs to go. But right now, we're not really having much of that. It's, it's kind of just back and forth. Otherwise, there's no other entries here that I can see for me personally. There was a high-low scalp that came up right there. Let's see how big the candle was for that. Not super big. But yeah, it was a high-low scalp nonetheless. So again, right here, price is rejecting off the sessions. So this is a test of the sessions right here. There's a rejection. So price broke below right here. First rejection, second rejection, third rejection. Hopefully at this point, it actually kind of comes down. The pending buy signal right there. So 3 rejections right there, basically like a triple top off this area. It's getting close to my stop loss. Let's see if it comes down from here. So it's, again, like I said earlier, it's in an area of manipulation. This This is why I don't like trading where like red flags are, because this you get a lot of this here. A lot of BS movement, as we like to say. And here we go, as price comes back down. So I'm hoping it comes right back down to where it needs to be. Yeah, I'm still in it as well. Rhetoric said this is taking years off my life. Yeah, it's just gonna take a while. I mean, it's gotta sit tight and wait. I'm hoping it just dumps down at this point because, well, here's the good thing. The good thing here is that we now have a pending sell signal. So if we get a sell signal, I'm hoping we get a huge dump like this one right here, right? We just get a huge sell signal that just shoots down and just goes straight down from there. But there's not really too much to analyze here, because we're in a range. Like the range is really where price is at. It's just ranging. So it's hard to tell where price is going to go. There's not much of a direction. You can see it better here on the clean chart where the range is at. So let me see. I'll take this off real quick to see if we can like kind of just focus on this area here. But yeah, it's just in between the 1 hour support and the 1 minute support level down here. This level down here is not even established. It's kind of just there. But it's kind of consolidating right here a little bit. I got stopped out. It's all good. So unfortunately, got stopped out today. Yeah, just a stop. So that's it for that there. PRB hit full TP, breakout V3 hit stop loss. It's all good. And then we have liquidity over here that got hit down below, liquidity right here. So for the day so far, there is one entry here. The liquidity that got hit, full TP. Second liquidity here got hit. PRB got hit, and the breakout V3 here hit stop, unfortunately. Like I said earlier, it's kind of tough when you trade around news time. That's why for me, preferably, I'd rather have news happen. I'd rather have the entry happen before news, like around 6:30 to 7, because you can see over here from the news, it was mixed. So there's no direction. We couldn't really tell if we wanted to go buy or sell, because the first high impact news event over here was negative, while the second news event was positive. So price could have reacted either way. You can see right here, the news happened at 7 o'clock. So the first news event pushed price down, and then the second news event pushed price back up. It's a toss up, because the direction here didn't really go anywhere. News happened right here at 7 o'clock, price came down, then it just corrected back up. So not much that could have been done there. All right, so other than that, we'll keep looking for any more entries here, but for the most part, I mean, price is kind of sitting right here where the sessions are at, and this is just going to be a red flag area until price decides to either push back up and be in an open space over there, or price decides to push back down and be in space down here as well. So what? My replicante is frozen. Oh, 1 second, guys. My Ninja traders are frozen. I don't know if I got out of my other positions. It said it only took on 1 trade though. I want to make sure I'm not in on any other positions. Oh, all right. Well, it looks like I dodged a bullet there. I only took the loss on 1 account. It didn't copy to my other accounts because my Ninja Trader was actually frozen. when I got out of the trade. Well, I mean, that's beneficial for me. All right, so I'll take a screenshot of my accounts here, but yeah, I guess it only took it on my main account and didn't copy. But let me just give you guys an update here for the trade. I know we don't want to like take losses, but these losses are actually going to be beneficial for us in the long run, guys. So these losses here are going to help us understand what we need to change to the strategy moving forward, which we don't really have enough data yet because we only have like 3 losses for this month. So let me just give you guys an update over here real quick. Yeah, for whatever reason, it only took it on one account. My copier wasn't on or it just wasn't working. But let me take a screenshot of my accounts here. I mean, thankfully it didn't. I don't know if you guys have been having issues with your copier lately. I've been having a couple issues with my copier, not like super bad, but well, not really with my copier. So today, this morning, I know that some of you guys have mentioned this before, but my NinjaTrader for some reason lost all connection. It lost connection, and then it came back up, and I think that's what happened with my copier, and it shut it off. But yeah, I got online earlier this morning before the live just to set up my NinjaTrader, and then my it said connection lost, and then it reconnected right after. And I think that's what shut down my copier. But let me just show you a screenshot of my account. So I just took it. Well, I mean, I had my copier on, but thankfully it didn't execute. So you can see over here, I just have one loss here on one of my accounts, which thankfully worked out in my favor. But I've had an issue with I just had an issue with it today. So price is coming back down. As you guys can see, it kind of sucks because we just got caught in this manipulation to the upside and price is now coming back down. So I think maybe in the future, we would maybe just skip trades that happen during news. That might be the key thing. Because I think that's probably that's the main thing that we've been kind of getting in an issue with. It's mainly from trading during news. Like sometimes we do have wins during news, but like a lot of times, I think a lot of our losses happen because of late reactions to like news events. So like last week we had a loss because we traded during I forgot what we traded. We traded during the interest rate news event that was happening on Wednesday. And that's maybe something that we can factor in. So that's what I'm gonna do here actually. I'm gonna put this here. Trade. To stop loss. So I'm gonna put some notes here. But again, here are my accounts. So I just took it on one account, guys. I didn't plan on taking on one account, but it just ended up copying to just one account. So luckily for me, I just have one loss there. I don't have all my accounts taking a loss. And hopefully I just bounce back from that tomorrow. But I'll put some notes in our trades. Like for example, today, this one was based off news. I think looking at our calendar or at our spreadsheet over here. Yeah, so if you guys look at the losses from last week, entry was against bias and it came up right after news. So the loss from last Thursday was because of news, and then Wednesday was because of news too, because of the interest Fed rate decision. So maybe moving forward, we'll use this as something that we might have to just factor in to avoid whenever entry happens, like maybe 10 minutes before after news or 5 minutes before after news. So, all right, other than that, let me see if there's anything else here that we're missing. Yeah, James had noticed there was an update for Replicano. Yeah, so I updated Replicano last Friday. So I have the new Replicano. I don't think there was anything that happened because of the update, though. I think it was because of my connection issue. So I'm not sure if it's an NinjaTrader issue or something like that, but I typically don't have any issues with NinjaTrader. I think today was the first time I've ever had an issue. Actually, I had one issue like a couple weeks ago when my copier didn't close out of all of my trades. But that was also my mistake. So I tried to close out manually, and I kind of got it interfered with the execution. So back to what we were looking at over here, guys. There's no other entries here available. There's another entry that came up right here that was a pivot scalp, but it happened right at the sessions, which was obviously a red flag. So with that said, this right here would not have been taken by me or by, for the most part, anyone. If you guys are taking any of the normal scalps, you guys have to keep in mind that the red flags do apply. So we don't apply the red flags for the BB3 or the PRB, but for the normal scalps, you do have to be very selective with which entry you decide to take, because these are negative risk to reward. So you want to make sure that you only take the high quality entries that do come up. This whole area here is just a red flag area. Let's see. I mean, price is still within the range. So it's the same range that I mentioned earlier. Price is still going between these two areas right here, which is not a good area to trade in to begin with. So this is a heads up for the week. So for the week moving forward, if we see this tomorrow, then this is like not a surprise, because we already understand that this is kind of how the market's moving today. And it's also holiday week, so just keep that in mind too. There's a lot of different factors that are coming into the market, why there's like low volatility. Like right now, the volatility is super low. It's down to 12. Like I said earlier, typically you want it to be between 14 and 16. Anything below 13 or below is going to be pretty much slow. Right now it's at 11, so market is pretty slow here at the moment. So other than that, I mean, if there's any other questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm not really expecting too much to happen here. It's just a sideways market right now. As you can see, it's clear here on the clean chart. So there's not really going to be much opportunity for entry here. Also for the other strategies here that come up, there's just not much because it's at the sessions. So with it being here at the sessions, it's just a red flag. All right. This is sessions and it's news. We have more news over here at 7:30. Hopefully price pushes away at 7:30. But at the moment, there's just not really much here to work with. We have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index at 7:30. We have Fed Cook speaking at 7:30 as well. And then tomorrow we have some high impact news pre-market. So we got news pre-market at 5:30. We have high impact news, medium impact news at 6 o'clock. And then it looks like we're pretty much free until 7. So there's pre-market news, and then there's more news at 7 o'clock. So hopefully our entry tomorrow will come up before 7, before news happens, so we don't get caught in the same problem that we ran into today. The problem with avoiding news, guys, is that news happens every day. So it's kind of difficult for us to avoid news when news just continues to appear every single day, right? So I don't think avoiding news in general is going to be something that we can necessarily do, but I guess we'll have to see like specific news events that might, or if they're mixed, that might be a thing to look at as well. But yeah, other than that, there's not really too much here to look at the moment because price is just going back and forth. So if there's anything that you guys need help with, feel free to put them in the chat. What I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to update the spreadsheet real quick because we do have some time. This entry came up at 7:08. It was for a sell. For a sell, loss, -25, BB3. And this is just me being transparent with you guys because I want you guys to see the long-term effect of, applying this one strategy, a day type entry. So entry filled after news, after mixed news. All right, so I'm adding this right here. All right, so for March so far, we have 13 wins, 4 losses, total profit of 225 points. Total win-loss ratio right now is currently at 76.5. So as I mentioned last week, guys, the goal for this strategy is really above a 50% per week, right? Last week, we had above 50%, so we had 3 wins. 3 wins divided by 5, we had a 60% win rate. So our goal every week is to get around a 60% win rate, right? Because if you do a 60% win rate for a month, then you're pretty good as is. So our main goal, like for example, this week so far, or let me choose to quick. So for this week so far, we have a loss on Monday. We want to have a net one win for the week. Every week you want to have a net one win. I know the last couple of weeks have been like a pretty hot streak. So a lot of you guys are kind of expecting this to happen again. This is unrealistic, right? This doesn't happen every single day, every single week. Like having an 11 win streak doesn't happen very often. You guys got to remember that this strategy is a one-to-one strategy. What we aim for here is one net win a week. Because like I said earlier, if you do the math, so for me personally, I'm already on a 17 contract, or I'm on a 16 contract or I'll just do basic. So we'll just do a 10 contract, what everybody's doing, right? 10 contracts times 5 times 25. If you win one win each week, that's 1,250 per account. I have 20 accounts here, so times 20, that's 25,000 a week, right? 25,000 a week times 4, oops. 25,000 a week times 4 is 100,000, which I'm perfectly fine with. This is what I'm aiming for. So this is why I'm saying, for the strategy, you have to understand that you have to be able to eat the wins and eat the losses as well. But at the end of the week, you want to end up with at least one net win. Because if you do one net win, you'll be up in profit if you have 20 accounts, you'll be at 100K a month, which is, I'm fine with that times 12. That's 1.2 mil. So again, you guys got to look at it from a long-term perspective. There's going to be some weeks and some months where you're going to have like crazy win streaks like this. But just keep in mind that this isn't realistic. It's not going to happen every single week. Best case scenario is, or not best case scenario, normal case scenario is you have 4 wins net for the month. Better case scenario is you have 2 wins net per month, right? So like I said earlier, let's go back to the charts. So like earlier, I said if you have one net win, you'll have 1,250 per week, right? If you have 2 net wins, meaning you have 1 loss and 2 wins, I don't think that's even possible. I don't think we could have 2 net wins. It'd have to be 1 net win or 3 net wins, unless we skip a trading day, right? Because you can either have 2 wins or 2 losses a week and you'll have 1 net win, or if you only have 1 net loss a week, you'll have 2 net wins. So, or 3 net wins. So if you have 3 net wins, that's going to be 10 times 5 times 25 times 3. So every week, our main goal is to make about 1,250. If you have 1 more win for that week, you're going to have 3,750 per account. So on a better week, you have 3,750 times 20. That's 75. It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference compared to what you would typically see. And if you have a net loss for the week, you're going to be down 25,000, or I might be down 25,000. So you'll see how it balances out. Like week by week, it's going to balance out. You're not always going to have a green week. Most of the time you will though. But for the most part, you'll either have 1 net win, 3 net wins, or 1 net loss. That's kind of how it's going to work. So we'll see. I mean, we don't have enough data for us to like really to come to that conclusion yet, but we'll keep pushing from there. Let's see. And so Kenny said for the previous entry that was around news, looks like the setup was on the news candle as well. One of the V1 double body candles was the news candle. Maybe that's around the news entry that we should avoid. Yeah, possibly, Kenny. That's a good observation. So we'll probably keep that in mind. As we get more and more data, we'll be able to identify what we should avoid. But yeah, for the most part, that's a good observation there as well for us to follow through. Agil's asking, is this the first month data being collected? For this specific strategy, yeah. Last month, we were applying both the BV3 and the PRB. So we didn't have much of the BV3s lined up yet. We did have a lot of PRBs and they did hit as well. Like last month was okay for PRB, but this is the first month where we have all BV3s for the entire month for every single day. So this is all the data here. for the BB3. The BB3 is pretty accurate last month too. So we only started documenting the BB3 from February 19th. So half of last month we started to document the BB3, which were mostly wins. Overall, from the data that we have, it should be a net one win every week for the most part overall. So meaning we have one net win pretty much every week for like an entire month. And that's just consistent, like the consistency of how the strategy works. But we'll see what happens after this month. Then we go into April. And then as we get closer to I think that the biggest challenge for us is going to be once we get to the summer months, like June, July, August, because the volatility is very slow during those periods. And the problem with that is that we're going to get this type of market that we're currently in. So price is finally making its way back down. As you guys can see, our entry over here, unfortunately, just got caught with news. So we got caught in the news manipulation here as price went back and forth, and then now it's coming right back down. But it's okay. We can't think of it that way. I just wanted to show you guys here that, that's kind of what happens when you trade during news and you get caught in the manipulation. But other than that, there's no other entries here available. I'll keep looking for the next entry that'll come up. But I believe the Fed is speaking right now. So I wouldn't really recommend that you guys trade because the Fed right now who's speaking is, let's see, Fed Cook, which is a voting member. So yeah, Fed Cook is currently having their speech right now. They're pretty much just discussing, the new home sales that came out today. Pretty much all the news that happened today and the news that came out last week, just a reiteration of the interest rate hike announcement that's not going to be happening anytime soon. And just how that's going to affect the market. Yeah, exactly. Akil said one net win week is really good. Yeah, I mean, for this month so far, we have like the net wins are like so much higher because we had that win streak over here. Like, so for the first week of March, there was 3 net wins, right? There's only 1 loss, or actually it was 4 net wins, or no, sorry. So there's 4 wins, but 3 net wins. So for the first week of March, this is considered where you'd have, 75,000 profit. And then for Monday or the second week of March, we had 5 net wins. So it kind of just jumps. So you'll have 1 net win, 3 or 5. That's like the only numbers we can get because you can't have in between since the week is odd. For last week, we had 1 net win. And then for this week, we're currently at 1 loss. But, if we have all wins for the rest of the week, so if we have a win on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then we'll have 3 net wins for the week. So you guys can kind of see how this is going, right? That's just kind of how it's going to run moving forward. We don't know yet, Nick, for Friday because it said that the banks are closed, but the market's probably still going to be open. So I haven't said for sure if I'm going to be trading Friday yet or not. We'll have to see how the market is because when you go on, because I looked at the calendars here, the calendars are all open. So if you look on my FX book, there's nothing here for Friday. And if you look on, because Powell's speaking on Friday too. Yeah, we're not trading on the NYSE though. We're trading on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. We're trading on CME. So we'll have to see for sure. Actually, yeah, Nicholas said Friday's closed. Yeah, because I looked over here. I'm trying to figure out if it's for sure closed or not. Because over here, the banks are closed for the UK, and they're also closed for Canada as well, but it doesn't have anything here for the US. Let's see. Thanks, Nick. So this is exactly what we were looking for. We wanted to see this, the CME group. Okay. Good Friday, 28th to 31st. Perfect. Okay, so if that's the case, then yeah, we for sure are going to be trading on that day. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Yeah, okay, perfect. So, well, I think for this here, it's still going to be similar to like how the market is. So it's going to be open for like the first couple hours and then it's going to be closed. So for the most part, we're just not going to trade on Friday. because there's just no need to trade on a holiday like that. But the market might be open for those of you who want to trade, because the market is still technically open for like the first couple hours. I think it's open until like 9, and then it shuts down. It's kind of similar to like every other holiday. The volatility is probably gonna be really slow. Yeah, exactly. So in that case, this week would be 2 net wins if you won the rest of the week. Yeah, I agree. Which is fine. I'll do 2 net wins. The good thing about today too is that I only copied it on one account, or it only traded on one account, so it's gonna be kind of balanced out. Like if we win tomorrow, it's gonna balance out that loss. Yeah, Nick said you lucky duck. Yeah, no, I did get lucky because I didn't realize that it. Well, I mean, good thing it froze on me. Hopefully, it never freezes when I actually need it, but yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that happened to me the other time too. Like I think last week, I forgot to turn on my copier, and then it ended up only taking on one account, remember? And that was a win, but it's all good. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's 7:38 right now. There's not really much to take here. Also, the Fed's speaking, so it's not a good time to take any entries. So if there's anything that you guys want me to cover, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping this up pretty soon. But like what we said with Akil over here, 1 net win is good. You just have to understand that like we're playing the long game here. So just something to keep in mind. But again, if you guys are getting close to your drawdown, I mean, you guys shouldn't be, because we had 2 losses, 1 win, and then we had 1 loss today. So technically, you should still have 2 opportunities to bounce back, right? This is going to be similar to like if you took today's trade, you would have lost your winnings from last Friday. So you're basically back to a 2 trade risk. So for me here, I have to do the math actually for my own account. Yeah, exactly. So Nick said basically we're back to where we were at Thursday. That's pretty much what it is. So for me right now, 39,011. I basically could take a trade where I can have 2 back-to-back losses, which should be 875. Yeah. So I'm just gonna have to drop my contract size to 15 for my PA1, because that's the only account that I took the trade on. So that's how I calculate it, depending on how many wins or losses you have. And that's why you have to keep track of your net wins and losses, because that's how you're going to bounce back from the trade. Yeah, exactly. Nick said, I'm personally going to lower my contract size if we take another loss tomorrow, because I do not want to get close to my trailing drawdown. Yeah. So that's how I'm doing it too, Nick. So I'm doing the same thing Nick's doing. If I ever get down to like my 4th trade, I will drop down my contract size to half, so that I can always have 2 trades before getting farther down. Because the odds of you having like more losses than 4 back-to-back losses is very unlikely, right? So at least you want to be safe to just recoup your trailing drawdown before you take any other riskier trades. So, all right, guys, I think this is it for this session. There's not really much here to take so far. I mean, there's nothing. So going back and just reviewing what we took for the day, the PRB over here hit full TP. The breakout V3 hit stop loss. Liquidity over here, the first level got hit, second level got hit, and now price is kind of just consolidating within this middle area. So looking over here at our clean chart, you can see how price is just ranging between these 2 levels here, the 1-hour support and 1-minute support level. And the fake out just happened right here below the 1-minute support. So it's kind of a similar market to last week. Hopefully it doesn't continue to move this way. But we'll see what happens tomorrow when we come back for the next live session. Here, let me scroll over here real quick. Froylan is asking, Sean, is there a trend requirement for the BB3? No, no trend requirement. There's not really any requirements for it at all. It's just a straight breakout entry. So no trend requirement for that there. Kenny said, I've been using 5 contracts, and when I get up to around 160K, I'll probably go up to 10. Yeah, that's smart too, Kenny. So for me, guys, I just base all of my trades off a 4 net loss ratio. So for me, like for example, on my main accounts, I'm using a 10 contract. I'm not changing it because I've been on 10 contract this full time. So I'm leaving it at 10 contract. And then for my other accounts, when they go past the trailing drawdown, like the max drawdown is 5K. If it goes over 5K, then from there I'll calculate it to where I can take trades where my risk can be 4 trades back to back. So that's usually where I keep it. I just increased my contract size on my main account because my account was at like 159 and my trailing drawdown was like 8K. So I was able to use the max contract size. So just make sure to use proper contract sizing guide with your accounts, because if you do that, you basically make it impossible for you to blow your account. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I think this is going to be it for this live session. There's just not much else for us to take here. As you guys can see, price is pretty much getting manipulated around this area here, and price is just going to keep ranging back and forth. So if you guys don't need a trade, which I'm pretty sure none of you guys do, just take the rest of the day off and then come back tomorrow fresh as we continue on with this trading week. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys.